And welcome into Torry Gym, as tonight we await a Mid-Illini Conference basketball matchup between the host, Washington Panthers, and the visiting Pekin Dragons. Good evening, everybody. I'm Owen Dimple, and once again, joining us, Jeff Little. Jeff, it's great to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back in here again tonight. It should be a good Mid-Illini game.
We were here just a week or so ago for the Washington and Morton girls basketball game, but now we get to see Washington take on Pekin in a boys game. So What are you looking for tonight?
Well, I think both these teams are kind of in a similar situation. I'm sure they're not real satisfied with where they're at in the conference, but you're at the point in the year where you're trying to win every game you can for those seeding purposes for the postseason and get your team ready to play as well as they can in the postseason.
Certainly, and starting a little bit later than usual tonight. Tip-off was supposed to be around 7 o'clock, but the JV game went into overtime, Washington prevailing in that one. So we are about 13 minutes from warm-ups before we get to tip-off. And, you know, two teams, I think we're going to see a lot of good basketball, but for the Panthers, you're going to have to look at James Johnson, a guy that scored 23 points in their last matchup against Peoria High.
Absolutely, and you know, I know Coach Schimmerhorn would talk to you about the strength of the schedule that they've played. Their last three opponents have all been state-ranked, and he feels like they've played pretty well. Their turnovers have been been in the single digits, and so, you know, when you're taking care of the ball, you give yourselves a chance to win the game.
And then for the Pekin Dragons, they're led by Peyton Hess, the senior guard.
Yeah, Peyton went off against Dunlap last week. I think he had 26 at halftime, ended up with 34, I believe, in the game. So, you know, he's somebody that can fill it up and you know, expect a tight game throughout.
Absolutely, and as we're still here in pregame, we'll take a quick look at the Mid-Illini standings currently, as Metamora leading with an undefeated 8-0 conference record, as they are 20-4 overall. Followed behind them right there closely is the 7-1 Morton Potters. They're also 15-5 overall. Those two teams are playing tonight, so that's a big game for the Mid-Illini Conference. East Peoria at third, Dunlap fourth, Limestone fifth, and now we see the two teams tonight, Washington sixth, Pekin seventh, rounding out at eighth is Canton. But you got two teams towards the bottom of the conference, as you said, probably not where they want to be, but there's still a chance tonight to get another win that can really, you never know, one win can really catapult into something bigger.
Well, both of these coaches are both good coaches that are, you know, they're teachers, and so their game, it's about teaching the game, and like you said, one win can give one player or a team confidence in themselves that helps in the next game and helps it down the road and helps next year. So, you know, I mean, both these teams are going to play hard for 32 minutes. We know that.
Yeah, the snowball effect, I think that's the easiest way you can put it, and you never know. A player can step up when they're least expecting it or when a team is least expecting it. We saw that really in the first game between the two, Washington winning at Pekin 56-39, and for the Dragons, they were led by Tyler Filarski. He scored 16 points in that one. So if they could have him and Peyton Hess be kind of a 1A, 1B tonight, that could be really good for them.
Well, and I'm sure those are the two guys that have asterisks on the score in the locker room bulletin board for the Panthers, you know, as far as keys for the defense, who we're going to try to limit touches and make them earn every point they get.
Filarski also scored 16 points in their game against Richwoods. And I think a third guy you could point out is Bray Korma, who had 11 against East Peoria. For the Panthers, though, we talked about James Johnson. There's really a variety of players that they can go to. I mean, you look at guys that have really taken a big step in their improvement, Will Martin and Pierce Martin.
Absolutely. Both of those guys are you know, kind of tough kids that'll guard you hard. You know, Will is a great outside shooter, shooting about 40% from behind the line and you know, can fill it up. And once he gets hot, you know, kind of like the Pekin kids, once he makes a couple, you know, the next couple are probably going in as well. So, you know, I'm sure he's somebody that's got an asterisk on his name. You know, James Johnson's a guy that kind of makes the Panthers go. You know, Andre Lewis is playing better as well. So, you know, the Panthers are kind of a funny team. They're balanced. You know, it's not like you can key on one guy because they have different guys that can be a leading scorer on any given night.
I think that's what coaches really like. They want to have balanced teams.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I mean, you do, and that's fun to coach that way. But then it also comes crunch time. It's like, who do you run sets for to get a shot? And you know, both these guys are good coaches, and so they know who they're going to run them for. That's not a problem. But when you're a coach on those kinds of teams, that's something you've got to have in the back of your mind.
Absolutely. 2 coaches, no stranger to the Mid-Illini Conference. For Pekin, it's Jeremy Crouch, a Pekin graduate back in 2004. He's back coaching his alma mater. And for the Panthers, Eric Schumerhorn, 7th year as a head coach, but he's also been a longtime assistant.
Yeah, and both of those guys as players and coaches, have been integral parts of the success of the program. So, I mean, Coach Schumerhorn brings a toughness here to the Panthers, and players know what to expect when they step on the floor for him. Coach Crouch kind of recently back to Pekin, so they're still learning his methods, but he's still a great teacher, and he's got a great amount of ability as a player that if he can teach the players those kinds of skills, they're only going to get better.
He's a coach that if you want to apply what he did as a player, you could really look to Crouch.
Jeremy was a phenomenal player, and it came from working hard. It wasn't. He was skilled and bigger than a lot of kids in the Mid-Illini that were trying to guard him or stop him. But, that's why he was able to go to Bradley and be a successful player, because of how hard he worked. And he knew that there were bigger and better players out there, and he continued to improve his game every year he was at Pekin.
Yeah, and Crouch, the Braves' all-time leading three-point scorer, part of that 2006 Sweet 16 team. So he's seen it all, and, having a coach like that certainly helps for the Dragons. And Schermerhorn, he's had his experience as well, coaching alongside the legendary Kevin Brown. It speaks volumes just in itself.
Well, I think one of the things with both of these coaches is credibility. If you're a high school player listening to this guy, whether it's Coach Schermerhorn and it's all of his experience as a head coach and an assistant coach in huge games and against some of the best talent in the country, or whether it's Coach Crouch, as you mentioned, has been in a Sweet 16 game in the NCAA, I would think as a player, you've got to soak that in and take it.
Certainly, and both these teams, as I said, meeting for the second time this season. The first game went to Washington, 56-39. Both of them split last year as well, with each team taking a game. And you look at last year, Pekin was a 17-10 team, but they lost their first game of the playoffs. Washington just below 500. But when you look at last year's team, there's a lot of similarities to this year. They played really tough opponents.
Sure. And one of the things I think any coach does is you look for improvements in your team. Coach Schermerhorn, told me that, hey, we've been taking care of the ball. Our problem is we've got to get stops on the defensive end, and we've got to rebound the basketball. And so those will be keys for the Panthers tonight. And for Pekin, they're going to guard you hard. It'll be different. They've been playing a little bit more man-to-man here recently than their matchup zone. So we'll see how they come out here and match up.
Schermerhorn said earlier in the year how he kind of wanted to find a way to mesh last year's team with this year's. Last year it was just a really tough team. They were physically tough. But this year's team, they have a little more skill, and he kind of wanted to see that kind of mesh towards a good balance this year.
Yeah, toughness wins you those games 30-28. You won't be able to win a game where you got to score 62. So, I know what he's talking about.
Absolutely. We'll take a quick break here as we are pregame here at Torry Gym, about 5 or so minutes away from tip-off, but we'll have a quick break and we'll be right back in the booth.
Take the hassle out of pavement restoration with Purdue Pavement Solutions. Whether seal coating, crack sealing, or parking lot repair. And now featuring pavement sweeping. For professional quality pavement craftsmanship, trust Purdue Pavement Solutions.
We are Local Union 649. Our commitment to safety, our state-of-the-art training facility, and our pride in the work we do to build America is what makes us stand out from the rest. We are Local 649 of the International Union of Operating Engineers, and we are looking for the next generation of equipment operating apprentices. With Local 649, you'll find more than a career. You'll find a family, creating legacies since 1917.
At Ham's Furniture, we have your comfortable, affordable recliners, mattresses, and more. And we offer free local delivery.
Hi, I'm Russ at Ham's Furniture, inviting you to stop in and see what's new today.
Ham's Furniture at 347 Court Street in downtown Pekin.
And we are back to Torry Gym, and we'll get the national anthem real quick. And we're back after the national anthem here at Washington Community High School as we're in the pregame before the Mid-Illini Conference matchup between the Pekin Dragons and the Washington Panthers. And Jeff, going back to you, you're a former coach in this program. What are you telling your team in a game like this?
Well, I mean, we're trying to get better. You know, we've lost some games tough. The last 3 games have been against, like I said before, state-ranked opponents. So, you know, you've got to use that experience here as you come out against a Pekin team that's kind of in the same boat. You know, they've got more wins than us. They've won 8 games. We've won 7. So it's a game where, you know, both these teams are trying to find themselves and find answers to some consistency. I'm sure they both tell you, hey, we're really happy with the way we played in this quarter or for this half or, you know, this whole game. But they want a consistency. They want it night in and night out. And that's what teams are searching for.
It is. And, you know, it might not always show up in the scoreboard, but when you can just see your guys playing at their highest level, I mean, that has to give you some confidence going forward, too.
Well, and, you know, and both these coaches will probably be the first to tell you, there's no moral victories. There's no, hey, I'm happy with the way we played. We didn't come out on top. Coming out on top is still the name of the game, that they're both, you know, that's the ultimate goal at the end of each night. So, you know, it's not about those kinds of victories or being satisfied with playing well. You know, you got to do the little things that get you the wins as well.
Absolutely. The little things always matter. And really, when you look at a game that could be tightly contested, it's going to be the little things that matter, as you know, in this game.
Well, we watched the JV game go into overtime because of, you know, some missed free throws, some turnovers, some great defensive plays. You know, it's like you said, it's those little things where you've got the ball and a chance to maybe get a shot to win the game, and you can't get it in bounds because you step on the sideline. So, you know, all those little things in a tight game matter. But so do the things at the beginning of the game that sometimes players go, oh, well, that's just a little mistake. Hey, they're all mistakes, and we got to eliminate as many of them as we can.
Of course, and when you get into this late in the season, too, you hope those little mistakes are corrected by now. Not always the case, though.
Well, you know, you talk about, oh, we've got a young team, we got sophomores, we got freshmen, you know what, everybody's a year older at this point. You've played enough games, you know, you've played close to 20 games in your season that, you know, you're into that season. So, you know, the experience you've gained, you've got to be able to utilize.
Absolutely. 2 teams that have good fluctuations of their classes. Mainly some upperclassmen are going to see the floor in this one. But
sure.
You see that JV game, and I mean, also makes you excited of what's to come in the program as well.
Yeah, you know, with the Mid-Illini going to, quote, JV games versus sophomore games, you do sometimes get to see some players, more players, I think, in that game that come in and contribute in this varsity game.
Absolutely. So starting lineups are getting announced here. First for Pekin, it'll be number 3, the senior guard, Tyler Filarski. Number 10, Ben Walraven, also a senior. Number 20, Peyton Hess. We talked about him in the pregame as probably the best scorer for this Dragons team. And also number 33, Brayton Korma. For rounding out the starting 5 is number 35, Brogan Benassi. Now we'll get to see the starting lineup for the Washington Panthers. First will be number 3, Will Martin, senior guard. Number 4, Andre Lewis. Number 5, Luke Kamienski. Kamienski, a player that also just a junior, but might not scream off the charts with his size, but he certainly plays larger than his size. Also starting number 12, James Johnson, highlighted him in the pregame. Football player for the Panthers, and we've seen a couple of football players, and I think that's also a great thing that you see from schools where you can get that dual sport athleticism. And for Washington, if you can steal some of those football players, you're going to have that physical toughness.
Well, you know, as a coach, you like kids that come from other sports, or at least I always did, because, you know, they like you said, they bring a toughness, they bring an expectation of success and excellence. And, you know, sometimes those kids are stars on another sport. You have to come out here and learn how to be a role player. And, you know, those things I think are important for life as much as they are for basketball.
We are finally underway for the tip-off, and it's the Panthers winning the opening possession. Johnson with the ball. He'll start in the wing. He'll swing it around the perimeter. It's Kamienski. Finds Johnson underneath. They're going to say a travel. Opening turnover for the Panthers.
Good ball reversal by the Panthers. Good cut by Johnson across the lane. He came around, thought he'd get a post shot, and the Dragons gave some help off of the screens and caused the travel.
One of those situations where he left his feet off the ground and he wasn't sure what he was going to do with it.
Well, like I said, when he came off that second screen, he thought he had an opening and had a chance to get a shot. We've got a foul off the ball here by the Panthers, it looks like.
I believe that'll be on number 3. Will Martin earns his first foul of the evening. Now Walraven gives it up to Hess. Hess will try to go to work. Tightly guarded by Martin. 3-point shot, no good. That was Benesai. Now the Panthers will go to work. Last time they thought they were going to get Johnson down low with a good shot. This time Johnson gives it to Lewis. Power drive, puts it up good. Andre Lewis.
There's some of that athleticism and strength you're talking about from the football field. Andre Lewis is able to get that shot up in the lane with some body contact.
Lewis had a great year as a defensive back for the Panthers. James Johnson was a wide receiver on the team. Here's Hess working towards the right side. Good find down low. Hess once again puts it up off the glass. Good.
Good
Great
cut on the baseline there, and maybe almost had a chance for a 3-point play.
Yeah, it looked like the hands kind of got intertwined a little bit, but Hess did a good job of finishing with the shot. Almost 2 minutes into the opening quarter, it's tied up 2-2. That three-pointer no good by Kamienski. So far, we're seeing both teams kind of go a little bit slower as we see Lewis pokes it away, gets the foul call, and he'll go to the free throw line. But what I was going to say is that both teams are kind of slowing down a little bit at half court. They want to really run their offense.
Sure, and I think that's what we kind of talked about. You know, both teams kind of trying to find themselves and trying to find consistency, and so they're trying to be maybe a little more patient. You know, one of the things Andre Lewis brings to the Panthers is his defensive pressure, and there he makes the play and has a chance for a couple free throws here after the steal.
And Lewis sinks his third point. His second free throw, just as good. A perfect 2-for-2 trip for Andre Lewis. He has all 4 of the Panthers' points as of now. Here's Filarski, very easily down in the paint.
Good left-hand finish there at the rim, kind of broke through the Panther full-court pressure.
Not a single Panther really picked him up. There's a loose ball, and that goes to the Dragons. Great hustle by Hess. Now down low, trying to get it. That was Korma. But stepping in front of him was Kamienski, and he gets the charge call.
You know, Kamienski there, he does exactly what you talked about. Sometimes, you know, he's not the physical stature, but he makes a great play, steps in front and takes a charge on a player out of control going down the lane.
Now, Brayton Korma, that's his second foul already picked up here early in the first quarter. We'll keep an eye on that as the game progresses.
You see the versatility of James Johnson, the biggest guy for the Panthers, bringing the ball up the court.
Davidson checks into the ball game. That ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Panther possession. Dean Davidson, the junior, was described as a Swiss Army knife by Coach Schermerhorn, just a guy that can really do it all.
One of those guys that isn't afraid to get on the floor and do the things that the team needs, whether it's defend, rebound, or make a basket.
He does the dirty work. Good shot fake down low. That was Craighead. 3-point shot. In and out from Martin. Now quick transition. Great basket.
Good push by the Dragons. They got the ball out and go. Great pass. Run the floor, get a layup.
Benassi very quick in transition. And now the Dragons recapture the lead. Trying to go into the paint was Martin. He got knocked down. Johnson going to work. Tightly contested by Benassi. He goes up and over. What a basket.
Good strong move by James Johnson. Got along the baseline and kind of had to double pump it to get it up under the defense. Ties it up.
It looked effortless, really, from James Johnson. And he's so tall, but really, I mean, his wingspan, he can really bring that ball down and then as quickly comes back up.
And the strength. I mean, like you were talking about him being a football player. I mean, Andre Lewis earlier, too. Draw the contact and still able to finish.
Dean Davidson picks up his first foul. Here's the inbound to Hess. And as he went for the ball, he was knocked. So now 2 very quick fouls from Davidson. And he'll take a seat on the bench.
Well, and his job was to come in and to try to guard Hess. So we'll see here what happens. Dragons on an inbound play, quick inside. There's Filarski.
Filarski was the inbounder, and they always say the inbounder is the most dangerous person when it comes to a play like that.
Well, running an out-of-bounds play where you've got options. That guy, Filarski probably had a chance to make a cut to the corner like a lot of out-of-bounds plays do, or he had a chance to cut to the end of the lane, and he did there and drew the foul, almost.
Craghead's long 3, no good, but Andre Lewis right there, and he took 1 too many steps on the drive.
Yeah. Kind of got hung up there in the lane, a little extra hop.
Still a great effort, though, to keep that possession alive.
Went and got a long rebound. We talked about Coach Schermerhorn wanting better work on the boards and getting offensive rebounds. This only helps on the defensive end.
Second chance, just really any extra opportunities you can go up and grab will go a long way. That ball looked like it came off the foot of a defender. Couldn't see the number.
Good penetration by Walraven. He was going to dump it down, and Panthers just tipped it out of bounds. Forcing out of bounds play here.
Walraven to Hess. His deep three-point. Good. Peyton Hess from downtown. Just a great shooter. Only missed 2 shots in his game against Dunlap. 12 of 14 from the field.
That's efficient.
Very efficient. Just as efficient, James Johnson. Great three-point shot, and both teams letting it fly right now. Tied up 9-9. That shot missed by Filarski. Here come the Panthers at half court.
Pierce Martin drives.
No look pass to Craghead. Shot fake, puts it up good.
Kevin Durant, toe on the line for 2.
Kind of just thought it was a 3. Good correction. Good eyes, I should say. Very deep 3. Missed everything, Hess. Maybe not the shot that Coach Crouch would like to see from his offense.
Well, it's a quick 3, and, they took the one off the out-of-bounds play because Hess came off the double screen and was open and shot it in rhythm, and that one he did too. So, if he was 12 for 14 last game, I would bet he has a green light tonight.
Maybe the green light from everywhere. Here's Lewis with the green light. No good. Rebounded by Lyle Taylor. Taylor will take his three-point shot, miss it off the front end. So teams really starting to feel confident from behind the arc.
What were you saying about the slow pace of the game? Both teams kind of being patient, not so much now.
They were feeling it out for each other, but that time it was James Johnson with a nice turnaround jumper.
Nice move in the lane by James. A little patience and step back and create some space for himself.
Pekin's bench boss, Jeremy Crouch, wants a timeout, talk things over with his squad. The Panthers so far up 13-9, and 7 of those 13 points have came from James Johnson. So he's picking up right where he left off from that Peoria High game.
Yeah. We were talking about, you're at that point in the season where you want players to gain confidence in themselves, teammates to gain confidence in them, and I'm sure James his confidence is pretty high after that performance and the start of this one.
Confidence is really a big thing, and it can be contagious too. You get one guy that's confident, he can allow others to kind of build off that confidence.
And as a coach, I always used to tell players, I wish I could give you confidence. I wish it was like a vitamin that, you can just take and you'll get it. You've got to have it in yourself. I have to have it as a coach in you as my player. So it's a two-edged sword, and it comes from a lot of things working together.
Wouldn't that be something if you could have part of your daily supplements, just something for confidence?
Yeah. Sure, there's an essential oil for that.
Right. But, that's why it's not always the easiest thing to have, and it's so valuable when you do have it.
Yeah.
Here's Hess's three-point shot. Rattles around, no good. Offensive rebound put back up, and drawing the foul was Owen Gordon.
In the game, long three up top by Walraven, almost in and out, and there we talked about, Coach Shermerhorn telling us, we've got to do a better job on the boards, and they're giving up a second chance, and now turns into a chance for 2 free throws.
Senior gets his first chance at points, misses the first one. Swishes the second free throw, so a 1-for-2 trip for Owen Gordon. Minute 33 here in the first quarter clock. Johnson wants the basketball in the corner, jab set, three-pointer, a little short, rebounded by Hess. Lost the basketball, poked around, Hess still has it, and they're going to get a whistle. I believe James Johnson picked up the foul on that one.
That'll put Hess here on the line. That's the 5th foul on the Panthers here in the first quarter.
Peyton Hess, as we talked about, 34 points in that game against Dunlap, and that really hasn't been, just a one-time thing for Hess. He's consistently done that throughout the season for the Dragons, whether that's 20-plus, 30-plus, but he's just a guy that can really score from everywhere.
Sure. Well, when you're a kind of a marked man, so to speak, other teams know that you're the guy that we're going to try to go to. That makes it even harder. We talked about this with the girls' game last week or a couple weeks ago. There are no bad coaches in the Mid-Illini anywhere, and and they know your personnel and they know what you're trying to run and who you're trying to get the ball to.
Here's Pierce Martin, gives it up to Andre Lewis, kicks it out. Kamienski, no good on the three. Chance for the offensive rebound, and the Panthers have it. Down to 40 seconds to go. Loose ball. Pierce Martin has it. Puts up the floater, left it short. Still on the offensive rebound was Will Martin this time, knocked away by Hess.
Yeah, good sequence there by the Panthers. They get a couple of second chances, opportunities here, and chance running out of bounds play. 28 seconds here in the first.
Yeah, that time looked like they had the second, third, and a fourth chance.
Well, they had good patience by Andre Lewis. He shot faked on the three and drove to the lane and found wide open, whether it was Martin or Kaminsky on the other side, and just off the mark.
Martin takes the inbound, gives it up to Johnson. He'll go to work.
Panthers probably will hold for one here.
Clock under 15 to go. Dangerous pass picked off by Peyton Hess. He goes up, fouled, and one. Very dangerous pass, turns into potential 3 points for the Dragons.
Long cross-court pass with not much on it, and Hess just makes a great play. Steps in the passing lane and goes and gets it. Panthers compound that mistake with fouling him on the way up for the shot. Dragons will have a chance for the lead here at the end of the quarter.
And he converts. 9 points already for Peyton Hess, and just overall not really the best sequence to have at a end-of-quarter situation.
No.
So with 9.9 on the clock, Dragons take the 1-point lead. Panthers will look for final shot. Lewis brings the rock up the court, and he was fouled.
I think with the rule change with the 5 fouls in a quarter, this is one where probably, that's Pekin's 3rd foul. You may put some kids in the game here to maybe foul on the inbounds and, like they're fouling, kind of mess up the sequence that the Panthers are trying to run here and not worry about it.
Exactly. Tyler Cole was the one that picked up the foul. Here's the inbound to Andre Lewis. Puts up the shot. Won't go. And the buzzer rings here at the end of the first quarter with Pekin leading Washington 14-13. An eventful first quarter really highlighted by the 2 best scorers here at Torry Gym. We'll send it to break here at the end of the quarter, but don't go anywhere. We'll have the second quarter coming right up after this break.
Palm Way starts with us. Bob Grimm experience, what I like is that, you put customers first, make sure we meet every expectation and make a long-lasting relationship with them so that, they know that we're here for them and for their friends and family.
Don't try to put someone in a car that is not going to work for them. If you don't have what they want, try to get it, the proper vehicle. Again, just treat people the way you'd want to be treated and a fair deal.
That's the Bob Grimm way.
Sweep-A-Lot takes care of your pavement sweeping needs for your parking lot or landscape. Sweep-A-Lot is backed by Purdue Pavement Solutions, trusted for paving, sweeping, and parking lot maintenance.
And we are back at Washington Community High School as we see all the parents with their daughters on the cheer squad. And boy, Jeff, everybody really loved that performance.
And I'm sure no one's happier than Dr. Freeman down there that there's not going to be any kind of lawsuit or anything like that against Washington High School for somebody getting hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone pulled any hammies or anything. It was a successful routine.
Even stunted with the dads. Nobody got dropped, so everybody can drive home safely.
I give that one an A+ from the dads, and looked like there was a few moms in the crowd as well.
I think they've practiced. I know they've practiced.
They keep it simple, but you know what? Simple's good.
That's right.
Simple's good. And we saw a simple first quarter from Washington and Pekin. We'll see the second quarter start now. But really, both teams did a really good job. I think they really found where they want to work in this game in that first quarter, both offensively and defensively as well.
Yeah, both good, like you said, both key players kind of got themselves started. Here's Hess with a pull-up three from the wing.
Ultra aggressive, as you could put Peyton Hess, and comes up short on that try. Now Lewis with the ball. Gives it up to Martin. Left wing, three-pointer, no good. Trying to save it. Did save it. Colt Craighead, nice job on.
Good effort by Craighead there to save that from going out of bounds.
Great recovery. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to keep a foot up in the air, but he did so.
I think the Dragons were just going to inbound the ball, let it go out of bounds, and good hustle gets the Panthers another possession.
And he wasn't focused on making sure he threw the ball to a player. He just threw it to open space and having that trust in a teammate to make sure you go get that ball.
Well, like you said, he was on the way down. I just got to throw this thing. Otherwise, it will be an out-of-bounds possession.
Long possession now for the Panthers. Craighead gives it to Lewis. Johnson trying to get posted up in the paint. Works his way top of the key. Gets trapped. Now Martin's, his jumper good, right out the free throw line.
Sometimes as a three-point shooter like Will Martin is, stepping in and taking that two-pointer gets you going a little bit. So we'll see if that gets the Panthers shooter going here for tonight.
Really just a nice mid-range shot. We don't see it too often. He had a great form on that one. Battling down low was Hess and Martin. And they're going to get Martin on the foul. Just a little too handsy on that defensive.
Yeah, and I'm sure Coach Schimmerhorn's sharing, hey, the offensive guy's doing just as much on the contact as the defensive guy is, and he's right, but, it gets called on the defensive guy probably 90% of the time, so.
It's kind of like what they say in football. There's pretty much holding on every play. It's just who actually sees it and who gets caught.
Yeah.
And you're right, most of the time it's going to be that defensive player.
Or I think in football sometimes once they call the first one on a guy, they're liable to call another one on the same guy later.
They got their eyes open.
Yep.
They have maybe a tendency to do that. Filarski tried to give it to Hess. Ball out of control. Picked up by Benassi. Three-point shot. Filarski, no good. And there's Benassi once again. Easy 2 points.
Benassi just kind of moved people out of the way, goes up and gets it, and finishes strong in the lane.
Benassi everywhere on that possession. Did a good job of getting the offensive rebound and very quickly putting it back up. Speaking of a quick three-point shot, Will Martin, no good.
Will Martin with 2 fouls still on Hess. I'm sure Coach Schimmerhorn might be thinking about switching that matchup here pretty quickly before Will gets a third one.
Martin defending Hess that time, gets his own miss, puts it back up, got it.
Great effort. Do you think he's a three-point shooter? He caught it behind the line, took it strong to the basket, stayed with the miss, finished in the lane.
He'll go everywhere he needs to. Kamienski, nice drive fake, kicks it out, wide open, Craighead, got it!
Good extra pass by Kamienski.
Kamienski just doing a great job of doing whatever the offense needs him to do.
It's just the unselfishness. We saw Andre Lewis do it earlier. Could have taken a shot in the lane. Kamienski could have taken it there as well, and Luke didn't. He kicked it out and found a wide open Craighead in the corner.
Another foul picked up by the Panthers, this time on Andre Lewis, his first. So far in the quarter, Panthers 2 fouls, Dragons none. I think if you're Schermerhorn, you kind of want to see your defense play defense without the whistle.
Yeah, Panthers kind of switching to a half-court trap, 1-3-1 here.
Kicks out Walraven, his three-point shot, no good, and out of bounds. It'll go to the Panthers.
Good ball movement by the Dragons against that zone, and good shot. Walraven's capable of making that one.
(18-18) all here at Torry Gym in Washington, Illinois. Some good Mid-Illini basketball going on. We got this game, and also Metamora and Morton also squaring off the top 2 teams as of now in the conference. Get a whistle, and we're going the opposite way. Looked like Pierce Martin picked up an off-ball foul.
Yeah, I think he was coming across the lane to screen, and Pekin was doing a good job kind of denying him where he wanted to go, and you can't just push a guy out of the way.
So at the 4:11 mark here in the second quarter, Washington has 3 players with 2 fouls each. Will Martin, Dean Davidson, and Pierce Martin. There is 1 player for the Dragons with 2 fouls, and that's Brayton Corma.
Add another one to the list. There's James Johnson with a second.
Starting to get into murky waters here. That's the 4th Panther now to reach 2 fouls. See Peyton Hess check back into the game.
Xavier Pirtle gave him some good minutes off the bench there for the Dragons.
Always good when you can go to your bench and, you don't have to be a scoring threat off the bench. 3-point shot, no good. You don't have to be a scorer to be providing those good minutes. As long as you can be effective with the basketball and maybe create other good plays for others, you do your job, really. I think that's the easiest way to sum it up.
Know your role, know your strengths. Don't try to do too much.
Here's Lewis, 3-point, got it. Great shot from Andre Lewis. Lewis now up to 7 points. He joins Johnson as the team's leading scorers.
Well, we expected a tight one, close both the whole way. Hess from the corner, just off.
Almost a push from Filarski. I think the crowd wanted the whistle, didn't get it, but it's still Washington basketball. Here's a 3-point shot. Kamienski just as good. And the Panthers, some good 3-point shots now have given them a 6-point lead with 3 minutes to play here in the first half.
Back-to-back, good pass by Andre Lewis. Finds Luke Kamienski over there on the right wing. Back-to-back threes, so open it up.
If the threes are falling, that's good, but, I think earlier in the game when they were trying to establish the paint, get some inside looks, that has really opened up the 3-point arc for now.
Well, yeah, you're still trying to score in there. It's not a matter of that, but just the way that extends the floor and opens that lane up area later for people, opens up driving lanes, cutting lanes, and all kinds of things. So, Coach Crouch takes a second time out there, kind of wants to squash this right here early so the Panthers don't get away.
He was feeling the momentum swing by the Panthers, those 2 really good possessions, and hopefully his offense can get a good look here.
And Pierce Martin on Hess here. Hess drives.
Gave him really good defense, lost the ball, forced it to kick it out. Filarski picked up his dribble underneath, up and under, no good for Taylor. Empty possession for the Dragons. Here comes the Panthers.
Big possession. The Panthers can get another basket here and kind of open this up.
Great ball handling skills by Andre Lewis. They're going to slow it down. I think Schermerhorn wants to run a different set. Lewis drives paint. Pierce Martin looked like he wanted to shoot it. This time he did shoot it, and he missed it. Rebound by Hess.
Kind of a 1-4 low set. 1-4 low set, and just got some dribble penetration, and Pierce kind of hesitated. Probably should have shot it maybe when he first caught it, but
that foul goes to Craighead. His second foul. That's now the 5th foul of the quarter, so the Dragons will shoot for the rest of the first half. And we see Peyton Hess. He's done a good job scoring, but he's also got a good rebounding ability as a guard, too. The previous game, he's got 7. He's got a few already here in the first half.
He's a good athlete. I mean, his size, his length make him, a problem around the lane. He's not really a post player, but his athleticism and length, like I said, will create some rebounding opportunities.
And Hess goes 2 for 2 at the free throw line. 13 points for the senior guard. Makes it a 24-20 Panther lead. Kamienski just about off the hand of Lewis. Trying to work a pick and roll. Instead, swinging around into the corner. Dragons playing tight defense. Ball on the ground. And that was Benassi who last touched it. Not sure if it would have been Dragon basketball.
Yeah, it looked like that might have gone off Lewis's foot. He tried to split the double team there as he came off the ball screen. Got tipped away. Pirtle back in the game, and you see the defensive pressure for the Dragons just kind of pick up.
They'll feed try to go inside with Johnson. Great defense by Benassi. Feeds inside, and we'll get a push.
Yeah, he's been physical on James Johnson, trying to defend him the whole time, and that's the first one they've got on him there. So
just the first foul for Benassi, and so really the first foul of the second quarter. Dragons doing a good job with that. Here's Johnson from the corner. Nothing but net and a little wave to the bench, and that's going to get a technical foul.
What's even worse is that's his 3rd foul. After you just made a big shot from the corner, just run back down the floor. That's one of the things you're trying to teach kids, some composure. And, James will probably tell you, hey, I made a mistake. But I'm sure there were some things being said from the bench to him as well. So.
Oh, yeah, from, whether it's from the bench or on the court, these are two teams. We talk about it often, even going back to that last game. The Mid-Illini knows the Mid-Illini teams.
Absolutely.
These kids, see each other on a regular basis. This being the second matchup already of the year, as Hess sinks both free throws. It's the one free throw. But, yeah, I mean, just the situation, you just got to know better, and you expect better from the junior as well.
Well, a junior that has played, played all of last year, played some as a freshman too, and, you can't do that, and he'll be the first to tell you that. Sometimes as a young person, you get caught up in the emotion of what you're doing out here, and you just made a big shot, and you just got the better of him right there. So,
with a minute 15, he'll probably sit on the bench for the rest of the half. Hess doing a good job following his own shot. That leads to a three-pointer that was Gordon.
Good ball movement again. You were talking about Hess's rebounding ability. He took that shot and went and got an offensive rebound, kept it alive for the Dragons.
Panthers with a 5-point lead. Here's Lewis, puts up the floater. Nice finish. Andre Lewis up to 9 points. And makes it a 29-22 Panther lead.
Now, Pirtle has been a good player on defense here for the Dragons. And there he tried to put a little bit too much pressure on Lewis, who blew by him and got it in the lane and finished. And now a turnover, ball off Hess's foot out of bounds.
That time, Pierce Martin on the outstanding defensive effort, creating the turnover. Clock working now to 30 seconds. We'll see how aggressive the Panthers are. It looks like they're going to be aggressive. Here's Craighead. No good on the three. Rebounded. Well, they're going to get a foul. That was Benassi who got the initial rebound. Wasn't sure if they were going to call a foul or a jump ball, and they'll call a foul.
Well, I thought that was one of those that if that's a foul, you got to call it right away. And then by the time he calls a foul, it's like they both have the ball. So, again, the Panthers put the Dragons here on the line with a chance to score with the clock stopped. cutting into this 7-point lead.
Dean Davidson joins James Johnson as the second Panther with 3 fouls each in the first half. And checking in for him is Aiden Neer, the freshman. Benassi, no good on the free throws.
Again, this is what we talked about. The Dragons can really be aggressive. They don't have to worry because they've only got, 3 team, or can't really see, 1 team foul here so far in the second quarter.
Tried to kick it out and it was tipped, but we got a whistle before then. That'll go on Pirtle, his first foul. Also checking in for the Panthers is Justin Bryan. He'll come in for Neer. 9.3 on the clock. Here's the Panthers with the inbound. Kamienski lost the handle, didn't go across half court, so they'll try again. Lewis with the basketball. He's going to have to go to work. Pierce Martin, jump shot, no good, a little too much. And the horn rings here at Torrey Gym with the Panthers off to a 7-point lead in the first half, 29-22. First half of basketball saw some good offense and a lot of whistles really for the Panthers on the defensive side.
Well, we talked about, you know, it's been a tight game. It's been close, and the Panthers had those 2 back-to-back stretches where they made threes. That broke open a tie game to a 6-point lead, and here we go in with the Panthers with a 7-point lead. So it has been a tight game.
And with that, I mean, looking at the fouls for the Panthers, Davidson with 3, Johnson 3, Martin, both Martins, Pierce and Will each with 2, Craighead with 2, and Andre Lewis with 1. And then, but you also look at the scoring, they're getting it from Johnson and Lewis. They've done a really good job both playing in and out of behind the arc and inside the arc as well, and really just doing what they can to lead this offense to the basket.
I'm sure Coach Schimmerhorn's going to go in saying, hey, you know, Will hasn't had a great half, but you know he can go off here in the second half for double digits. And I'm sure Coach Crouch is in there saying, listen, we've got these guys in foul trouble, so if we can continue to put the ball on the floor and get cuts to the lane, we don't always have to settle for quick threes, but, you know, we've got the Panthers where we want them in the standpoint of foul trouble.
They do, and really I think also at the halftime it's going to be on the whiteboard, contain Peyton Hess. He
absolutely
has 14 of the team's 22 first half points.
Well, and like we said, that was probably on the board to start the game. So it was on the board, contain him, and he got 14 of 22. So it's not as easy to do as just write it on the board. You know, the Panthers will probably continue to run multiple defenders and you know, try to keep guys out of foul trouble, but he's a smart player and not just a perimeter guy. He can put it on the floor, and those are the opportunities where you can draw fouls.
And on the flip side, if you're Jeremy Crouch, you're seeing the Panthers, they're really fouling, so whoever they can match up with Hess. I mean, we've seen both Martins defend him. You know, are you telling your senior, hey, go after him, see if you can
you absolutely. I mean, I think you're telling him, hey, be aggressive, but at the same time, you know, he's a smart enough player where I think he's going to be aggressive. But I've seen him give the ball up and create shots for Filarski or Walraven on the outside. So, you know, when you play with that kind of aggressiveness, if it's tempered, if you can keep it under control, you're actually creating for yourself and your teammates.
Outside of Hess, it's been 4 points for Benassi, 2 for Filarski, and 1 for Gordon. We'll step aside here for a quick break here at Torrey Gym with the Panthers up by 7.
Welcome to Braskies. This is your home away from home. First down to last call, we're serving up the good times. Food, drinks, music, and games all under one roof. At Braskies, you'll find what you're looking for.
The heart of Illinois needs volunteers, and you can make a difference. Be part of a global community of people who care. Discover the joy and satisfaction that comes with improving your community and the lives of the people living in it. United Way connects volunteers who are ready to work with opportunities in the local area, driving real change made by individuals like you. Join United Way in improving the lives and communities around us all. Sign up today at volunteer.hoiunitedway.org.
Right now at Bob Lindsay Acura, come on in and test drive the RDX Premium Sport SUV.
Meadows Avenue Tap. Slots powered by Gold Rush Gaming, the gold standard in video gaming. Lunch service starting at 11. Meadows Avenue Tap. Discreet gaming, great food, great friends. Our customers have won over 60 million lifetime. Meadows Avenue Tap, East Peoria.
Hi, I'm Jim Arnold with Wayne Dalton Sales and Service. Improve the curb appeal of your biggest investment, your home, with a new Wayne Dalton garage door. Or for repairs on your existing door, call us for service even on Saturdays. Wayne Dalton Sales and Service. It's in the name because it's what we do.
And welcome back inside Torry Gymnasium. Halftime here of Washington and Pekin. It's been a good one so far, with the Panthers leading 29-22 at the halftime break as you hear the soothing sounds of the Washington High School Band, one of the best in the area. Jonathan Michael here inside for halftime, alongside with our color commentator, Jeff Little. And Jeff, it's been a great first half. I've been down there on the sidelines taking some photos and also chopping it up with former football head coach Daryl Crouch here in Washington. But this is an intense first half. You know, you think of the Mid-Illini rivalries, you think Metamora Washington is the big one. Washington and Pekin, definitely, two teams that want to beat each other every time as well. It's an intense game for sure.
Well, I'm sure this is the kind of half Coach Crouch likes, because he saw a lot of physical play, a lot of contact out there. Panthers in a little bit of foul trouble, but we've talked about it every time. The Mid-Illini is so well staffed with good coaches at every school that you're well scouted. They know your personnel. They know what you're trying to run before you even call it sometimes. So, it's a matter of execution from your players.
Most definitely. And, Jeff, again, I always tell people it's different when you're watching a game behind the camera versus when you're actually watching it in person. It's almost like you're watching two entirely different games. Who is a player or two that stood out to you from both sides in that first quarter? Again, is there two teams that kind of have that one guy, but also other key guys that can step up on any given night? Who do you think is going to be big here in half number two?
Obviously you could pick Hess and Johnson for each team. Hess has done a great job, and, like we said, 14 to 22 points here for the Dragons in the first half, and he's able to score in a variety of ways. Not just a perimeter shooter he can put on the floor and finish, go get a rebound and that kind of thing, and create for his teammates. I think the key player for the Panthers here in the first half, outside of Johnson, has probably been Andre Lewis. He has played really well on the defensive end, made a play, drew a foul, made a couple free throws out of that early in the game. He's really pressured Walraven, bringing the ball up, and kind of slowed the game down and made it tough for the Dragons to even get into the flow of their offense. But he's done a nice job controlling the Panther offense when he's had the ball in his hands, and I think Andre Lewis has done a nice job.
Most definitely. Lewis is a player, along with James Johnson, that feels like they've just been around Washington forever, because they've been playing since their freshman year, not just football, or not just basketball, but also football as well. So a lot of leadership.
I think that's what kind of made that mistake by James down there so surprising, is that, this isn't a first-year varsity player that makes that mistake. James has been out there some of his freshman year, all of his sophomore year, and, you just don't do that, and I'm sure he knows that.
Most definitely. Well, I'm sure there are a lot of things to clean up in that halftime locker room. Panthers taking the floor back here. Jeff, real quick, I don't know if you guys talked about it much during the first half at all, but want to give some of our viewers and you also a quick score update. The big game of the night, besides this one, Morton 39, Metamora 36 after three quarters. What a game that's going to be over there in Morton. Potters looking to try and beat Metamora despite losing to them earlier in the season. So if Metamora wins, looking like it could be another Redbird Conference tie. I'm sure that's not something anybody in Washington country wants to hear, but it should be a good game, though.
You know what, I was thinking when I was out running today that you used to have the Manual Central games. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember this, but the Manual Central games always used to be at the field house and at Bradley, at Robertson Memorial Fieldhouse, and it would sell out. I mean, there'd be thousands of people. I bet that game tonight, if it wasn't at the Potter Dome, and I'm sure Morton didn't want to give up a home game, but if that had been at a neutral site, you could have had 3,000-4,000 people there watching that one.
Most definitely. Well, again, you got to look at the Mid-Illini standings right there. Again, two teams looking for a big win to head down the stretch. It's coming up, believe it or not. Again, we'll take a quick break here. Send it back where Owen Dimple has the call for the second half alongside with Jeff Little. I've been Jonathan Michaels. Thanks for sticking around. At halftime, we'll see you right after these messages. You're watching the WMBD Game of the Week, powered by Clutch Sports Media.
Need an injury lawyer? Get a fighter. Get a street lawyer like Todd Strong. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He'll fight for your rights. Get Todd Strong. He fights like a street lawyer.
My name is Todd Strong, and I've been representing injury victims for over 25 years. I have a team of lawyers that also assist me in the handling of our cases that have aggressive passion to represent injury victims and get the best outcome possible.
It's time to trade up. A job is just a place you go to work. A career is a path that moves you forward. Trade your job for a career in welding, HVAC, medical assisting, dental assisting, and more with hands-on training at Midwest Technical Institute. At MTI, you don't just get an education, you learn a valuable set of skills you can build on for a lifetime. It's time to trade up. Get the training you need for your new career at MTI.
Welcome back into the booth here at Torry Gym at Washington Community High School. Panthers up 7 here at the halftime, just about to start the second half. Talked a little bit about it in the first half of the game, but Washington, you look at their record, 6-14 overall. But really, I think they're a much better team than what the record shows. According to Nesto Hoops, they had the 37th ranked strength of schedule rating in Class 3A. And when you look at the teams that they played, you know, especially that TOC, the Tournament of Champions, you get to play the teams from out of state, really tough ones. And they got to see Wilson from Florence, South Carolina, St. Francis Episcopal from Texas, and also some nearby powerhouses in Peoria High and Mount Zion. And that really doesn't include also the good conference games against Metamora, Morton, East Peoria, you name it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of schedule, you know, when Coach Brown put together the Tournament of Champions, you know, they often, not often, but there were times where they came out of it without a great record. And good kick out. Kaminsky with that three. Johnson, good patience inside, finds Kaminsky from the wing. But, you know, you want to play the best competition, and Coach Schimmerhorn has continued that tradition set up by Coach Brown, and you know, it should start to pay off at this point in the season for you.
Definitely this past year, the Tournament Champions, once again, really good, and I liked how this year they were able to throw in a girls' game. You know, maybe something that they can work on more, you know, more going forward, more girls' games into that tournament.
I think that game between Washington and Notre Dame on the girls' side, you know, the opening night was something I know both girls' coaches were excited about and love having.
Down below was Will Martin on the nice basket. Both teams really starting the second half great on offense.
Yes, Will Martin kind of, you know, known for being a shooter there. He uses a shot fake and can get himself to the rim because he's known to be a great shooter.
Great poke by Pierce Martin. He's back with the basketball. Kamiensky, wide open three, too hot. And a foul on the floor is a push against Korma. Korma picked up two quick in the first quarter, and now a third quick one.
And he picks up a quick one here in the third quarter. That's a tough play for the sophomore. You know, Will Martin went up high to get the rebound, and Korma just sort of walked under him a little bit without knowing it. It wasn't like it was a dirty play or anything like that. He
didn't even think it was a foul at first. He was like, what? I was going after the basketball. Now underneath. Good. Finish
Kaminsky,
at the rim.
Yeah. You know, you talked about a 5'10", 5'11" kid that gets himself to the rim. Coach Crouch is going to take a timeout.
And the Washington bench is excited for that one. A great run from the Panthers, all led by Kamiensky. 5 quick points from the junior.
And that'll stretch that 7-point lead right here to 12.
And really, you know, you always talk about starting strong and finishing strong as well. And really, you can have two different starts to a game, the very opening tip and then the start of the second half.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think start of the second half can almost be more important than the first half.
Well, I think, you know, based on what momentum you had at the end of the half, you know, you can carry that in or you can turn it around at halftime, whether, you know, whichever side of that coin that you're on. So, you know, the Panthers come out strong here to start the third and force a Dragon timeout that kind of stopped this run by the Panthers.
The Panthers have had a couple swings of momentum where Crouch called timeouts to get his team under control. This time feeling the pressure of seeing what they're doing on offense. So it's coming too easy for the Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things, too, is, the Panthers have been a little patient on offense. They got that high-low, got it into Johnson inside, and he didn't force a shot. He kicked it out to a wide-open Comiskey for that 3.
Walraven double teamed by 2 Panthers. They'll find it inside to Gordon. Taylor picks up his dribble. Panthers playing really close defense. They're not allowing for much room. Inside, Hess takes it himself, no good. Tried to tip it out was Taylor, and coming back with the ball was Tyler Cole.
Good effort there by the Dragons. Cole goes and gets that rebound.
While Taylor takes the 3 himself, no good, and Cole went up. Might have been fouled underneath, but I think that was away from the basketball.
Will Martin picks that one up, battling for the rebound.
For Will Martin, that's his 3rd now. A lot of foul trouble to keep an eye on for both teams. Hess couldn't get the floater. Would have been a nice hook shot underneath.
Yeah. Great move inside and a good job by Coach Crouch by them going right after Will Martin with the 3 fouls.
Get a timeout from the Panthers and maybe a little confusion from Coach Schermerhorn. He's talking with the officials. The officials tonight are Michael Barber, Mark Yoder, and Randall Leitner. He's not sure what he's communicating with the officials.
Well, I think maybe what Coach Schermerhorn's asking is, was that foul really on Will down there, or was it on another one of the Panthers? There were a couple guys around Hess when they called that. So
yeah, definitely don't want to tack on a foul to someone who already has 2 that might not deserve it.
Right.
Especially a key player like Will Martin, and a great steal from Tyler Cole.
Again, another soft inbound pass on a flat cut, and Cole makes a great play, steps in the passing lane and gets 2.
A couple passes tonight, just been a little too soft where a Dragon has been able to step in front and take it the other way. Will Martin still in the game after picking up his 3rd foul. Jump shot no good. Here's Walraven. Gives it up, open shot, Tyler Cole. He got it! Tyler Cole, what a run.
5 in a row for Cole there with the steal and the 2-pointer, and then buries the 3.
This is exactly what the Dragons need. Outside of Peyton Hess, someone to step up and make some consistent shots. Here's a great drive by Kamienski.
Again, Comiskey at a 5'10", 5'11", shot fakes that 3, known for a shooter, and takes it strong to the basket. But he's sometimes kids go in there and they're looking for contact. He's just smart. Says, hey, I'm a small guy. I'm going to take this open little floater and get it in.
Just a nice touch on the finger roll. Trying to go down low. Here's Hess. Kicks it out. Wide open, Owen Gordon. Got it! Owen Gordon up to 5 points, and Peyton Hess is creating open looks for his teammates.
Yeah, and I'm sure Coach Schermerhorn's fortunate that Will Martin did get a 4th one right there on that sequence.
It's now a 6-point Panther lead. Johnson down low, guarded by Hess. Turns around, left it short, rebound by Hess. Working up the court, picked up by Lewis. He goes to the paint, knocked away. And he'll stay with the Dragons. Great defense by Andre Lewis.
Strong move by Hess. He likes to go to his left and can finish with either hand around the rim, obviously with his size and athleticism, but does a great job there. Looks like he'll get a little bit of a rest here, the 4-minute mark of the 3rd quarter.
Just running up and down the court, doing everything. I mean, the ball is always in his hands at one point of every offensive possession.
Absolutely, and rightfully so.
Yeah, when you have a good player, you always need to make sure that they can at least touch it once. Doesn't mean they have to end the possession with them as long as they have a chance. A couple Panthers tried to fight for the basketball. Up and one. Brogan Benassi draws the contact. Dean Davidson, 4 fouls, and that's a brutal one. He comes off the bench, and it just feels like he hasn't been able to establish a rhythm in this game.
Yeah, when you're picking them up that quick, it is hard to get into any kind of flow on the offensive end, and then on the defensive end, you sort of get a little tentative because you don't want to get another one. So
You know, you have two players like that for the Panthers. It's been Davidson, and then for the Dragons, it's been Korma. As soon as they get in, they just seem to can't avoid that whistle.
The ball finds them.
It does. 38-35 Panthers, 3:25 here in the third quarter. Johnson kicks it out. Kaminsky, open look. He's hit him before. He hits another. Kaminsky, 13 points.
Big shot from Luke Kaminsky. And again, James Johnson off the dribble penetration finds him wide open.
Seeing both teams really collapse on certain players driving the basketball, so the open kickouts have been there. But not only have they been there, but both teams are hitting them as well.
Dragons tried to go inside to Benassi there, and he tried to dribble through sets of hands, and it gets poked away. Panthers come up with the steal.
Johnson and Lewis working together once again for the Panthers offense. We'll swing it across the court. So far, Kaminsky and Johnson, the two in double-figure scoring for the Panthers. Lewis is right there at 9. Craighead, deep three, no good. Rebounded by Filarski.
Good penetration by Kaminsky, kicks it out. Craighead had a good look.
He's had a few good looks tonight. So far has only been able to hit one. And it was a steal from Craighead, but he had a foot out of bounds.
Good effort getting around the post player down on the block. Filarski was trying to get it to him. And for the Dragons, luckily they stepped on the line.
Dragons will keep the basketball at their end of the court. Throw it up to Hess, and he goes and gets it. Now driving left side of the paint, puts up the right-hand shot, no good. Craighead with the ball.
Looked like he got some contact in the lane, but there's been a lot of contact in this game. The officials are probably at a point where it's like, we can't call all of these.
Very physical, and look who's being physical, Tyler Cole. Now Pierce Martin inside, got the layup good.
Split the pressure there by the Dragons, got all the way to the rim. Good finish for Pierce Martin.
For Pierce Martin, his first basket of the evening.
Pierce is one of those guys, Coach Schermerhorn, I know for the Panthers, will talk about all the things he does, the rebounding, the getting on the floor. You see he's got the assignment on Hess here.
Something that's really helped him going into this season was he got into the weight room and he really committed himself there. Nice shot from
Korma.
Yeah, Korma back into the game. His first basket. 6-point Panther lead. Clock coming down to a minute here in the third quarter. High pass out of bounds. A little too erotic was Andre Lewis. And going up into the stands himself was Benassi. Now, no one was over there, so if someone was sitting there, they could have.
Yeah, could have got a souvenir.
Yeah, it's not like a baseball game though. Where
you have to give it back.
Yeah, you got to give the ball back.
Near steal by Craighead.
Gordon gives it back to Benassi. Trying to find anything they can run on offense. Korma drives in the paint, puts it up, gets the foul. They're going to say the foul came on the floor.
A little late rotation there by the Panthers after Korma got by Lewis up top and drew the blocking foul, but it's going to be an inbound play here for the Dragons with 37.8 left and a steal by the Panthers. Pierce Martin.
Pierce Martin, active hands, gets the steal. It was Craighead who picked up the foul, so now he's up to 3. Clock down to 25 seconds.
That was closer to a 10-second count than the Panthers probably wanted in the backcourt.
Martin near the free throw line, kicks it out. Kaminsky, his three-pointer, got it! Luke Kaminsky. It's just been his quarter here in the third quarter.
Well, I kind of thought it might be Will Martin that might be the guy that went off here. Oh, and Benassi.
How about Brogan Benassi? Right before the buzzer, a deep 3.
Kind of off, right-handed shooter kind of had to reach across the left side of his body to get that one up from behind the attack line on the volleyball court, and buries it. That'll answer the Comiskey three from the corner.
3 quarters down, 1 more to go here at Torry Gymnasium. It remains a 6-point Panther lead. We'll be right back after these messages. You're listening to CSM on CIProud.com.
Welcome to Braskies. This is your home away from home. Food, drinks, music, and games all under one roof. So bring all your friends. Bring the whole family, because we could all use a bit more Braskies.
In 1957, Cyril and Lewis Keller invented the skid steer in Rothsay, Minnesota to make farming and agriculture work much easier. Since then, Bobcat has become an integrated and trustworthy household brand. Being the first to bring the mini excavator to North America, Bobcat revolutionized the industry with compact tractors, utility tractors, mowers, and other equipment. Quick and agile, Bobcat is one tough animal. Locally owned and operated since 2001 in Bloomington and Peoria, Illinois.
Welcome back to Washington Community High School for our CSM Overtime. Your sports, your teams, your stories, all in one place. CSM Overtime. Visit clutchsportsil.com/overtime to subscribe. We get the fourth quarter started, and that third quarter really seemed like an uptick of offense and a lot of three-pointers by both teams.
Well, I think both teams got their offense going a little bit. The Panthers were able to survive foul trouble. Davidson didn't get the fourth, but he's somebody that comes off the bench and plays some sparing minutes. So, staying away from that fourth foul for Martin or for Johnson here. Good move by Hess in the lane. Just making every shot that he takes tough right now.
Couldn't finish on that attempt. Here comes the Panthers. For Hess, he didn't score at all in that third quarter. Now this one going the other way.
Turnover by the Panthers there.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this game entering the third quarter and you say that Peyton Hess doesn't score at all in the third quarter, I think if you're Jeremy Crouch, you're a little concerned. But the rest of the team, they stepped up and made big plays. And here's another big play. Almost, I wasn't sure if it was going to spin out, but that was a great play by Korma.
Andre Lewis went for the steal, and there's a steal by Hess. He picks Pierce Martin's pocket. Back-to-back layups.
Peyton Hess all alone. And now very quickly, it's just a 2-point Panther lead. Defense turning into offense for Pekin. Miscommunication, another turnover. 2-on-1, here comes Peyton Hess again. And Eric Schermerhorn is definitely going to need a timeout after that.
Good defense by the Dragons. Again, long pass cross court, step into passing lane.
Once again at this timeout, don't forget to subscribe to Clutch Sports Media Overtime. Get to dive deeper into the stories you care about on CSM Overtime. Get features, breaking news, and nightly roundups of area scores. Visit clutchsportsil.com/overtime to take your fandom to the next level. Also, on the regards of overtime, if this game tonight goes into overtime, we'll provide you first month $1 for the subscription to CSM Overtime. That'll be valid 24 hours after the game. Once again, if this game goes into overtime, $1 subscription your first month to CSM Overtime. Who doesn't love overtime? I mean, we saw overtime the JV game, maybe. Never know. Maybe overtime in this game.
Does that apply if the JV game, if there's a little bit of that got in there and a little overtime there?
We were thinking about it, but no, we'll stick just to the varsity.
All right.
Panthers looking to establish that rhythm once again. This one has gone into the Dragons' hands. A once 12-point lead is now a tie game at 46. Will Martin, his three-pointer, got it. That's a big three-pointer by Martin.
But again, that's James Johnson creating that shot on the dribble penetration, gets by his defender in the lane. Defense collapses around him because they know he can finish in there. He kicks it out to a wide-open shooter. I kind of thought it'd be Will Martin that might get going here in the third quarter, and it was Comiskey, and now maybe the fourth quarter will be Martin's.
Martin was the leading scorer for the Panthers in the first matchup with 18 points. He made 6 three-pointers in that game. Kaminsky got it. Luke Kaminsky has been on fire from downtown.
Another assist from James Johnson off the dribble penetration. Those shooters spot up in those open spots, and he's finding them.
He's done a good job adapting to this game. He started out in the first quarter as the leading scorer for the Panthers. Since then, I think the Dragons have put a more defensive emphasis on him, but he hasn't altered. He has found other guys open shots and has worked for the Panthers. Second chance for the Dragons. Korma, corner three, no good. And look who, James Johnson. Ooh. An elbow to the face. We'll see what this foul is, and it'll go against. Did they say that? I'm not sure if I saw number 12. Yeah,
that's an offensive foul there. He got the rebound, and right away the Dragons putting pressure on him, and as he tried to clear himself, he got the elbow up a little high and got a piece of Benassi.
You know, I'm not sure if a cylinder rule applies in high school like it does at like the college and that NBA level, but really, I mean, it shouldn't matter. Anytime you make the contact elbow to a face, you're going to pick up that foul. And for James Johnson, now that's his fourth.
Yeah, and to sit out here with 5 minutes to go, and he's been not the scoring catalyst, but he's been the guy that's created opportunities for his teammates. So Panthers will need somebody else to step up and do that here. Good defense from the Panthers on this end, forcing the Dragons to take some time.
We get another whistle. This one might go on Pierce Martin. Oh, no, that's Will Martin, so his fourth. So now 3 Panthers have reached 4 fouls. Will Martin, James Johnson, and Dean Davidson.
And again, you know, the Dragons are playing aggressive man-to-man defense on the other end of the court as well, and for them, they have no fouls here. And again, there goes Hess with that left. He loves to go left. Try to post up Benassi inside, poked away by Davidson. Good defense by the Panthers.
Kaminsky was the one who ended up with the rock. Now Andre Lewis will try to set up the offense. Just over 4 minutes to go here at Torrey Gym. Craighead passed up on the three. His bench thought he was going to take that one. We'll get a push in the corner from Owen Gordon. For Gordon, that's his first foul. See James Johnson check back in for the Panthers.
Maybe offense-defense substitutions here for the Panthers when they can do it. You don't always have that opportunity, especially with 4 minutes to go.
It's there in the corner, but not sure you want to go with the ball there. It could have been easily trapped.
Yeah.
Don't want to waste a silly timeout. They'll reset and go to work. Here's Lewis, top of the key. Kaminsky shot fake. Now Lewis back with it. A lot of physicality going on. Johnson tried to step back. They'll reset once again. Lewis takes it himself. Nice finish at the glass.
Good finger roll. Andre Lewis splits the defense, gets all the way to the rim.
Andre Lewis up to 11 points. It's been a good balanced scoring effort from the Panthers. Wall Ravens 3, no good. Second chance, put up, no good. Missed the bunny. That was Gordon who missed that one. 54-46, no look pass. Kaminsky driving in, kicked it out. Lewis, bounce pass inside. Pierce Martin, no good. Gets his own miss and a whistle.
Great pass from Andre Lewis. Pierce Martin on the block, but you know what? I got to give him credit. He didn't think, okay. He probably knew as soon as he shot it that it wasn't going to go. Went and got his own offensive rebound and draws the fourth foul there on Korma.
Korma up to 4 fouls, so he picked up that third one early in the second half. Didn't allow him to get scoring, and then he got 4 points. Was able to play the game a little bit, but then he gets his fourth, and he's going to have to take a seat for now.
And he's played well. I mean, he's taken the ball strong to the basket a couple times and drawn, you know, got a couple baskets there in the third quarter. Lewis with the travel there.
Lewis, another guy who's attacked the basket really well. Just that time, one too many steps.
Yeah. Kind of just got himself hung up, no one to kick it out to on that side, and he was going to try to throw the skip pass and had to take the extra step.
Now as the Panthers transition to defense, Johnson checks out of the game. Under 3 to play here at Torrey Gymnasium. Swing pass across. Here's Korma. Nothing on that shot attempt. out of bounds. Last touch by Gordon. It's going to Washington.
Johnson and Martin back in the game here for the Panthers.
You know, when they go to the bench, they are on the very left of as close to the scoring table as they are. They know they're just going to be constantly in and out of this game.
That's what it takes. I mean, you like smart players that know, hey, coach is ready to put me back in. And probably see the Panthers be patient here on offense, the 2:30 mark. Johnson strong down the lane, all the way to the rim for two.
James Johnson. It's been a while since he last scored. It was that three-pointer that he got the technical on. That time the two. Missed shot by Pekin going the other way, and that was a big shot for the Panthers to take a 10-point lead with just 2:11 to play.
Well, and Hess got to the basket there, and the Panthers, James Johnson sort of had to back off and not draw that fifth foul, and Hess didn't quite finish there. He steals it from Johnson in the corner.
Got caught in the corner, throws it up out of control.
Again, Johnson smart, just kind of trying to get out of the way, even turned his back there, but comes up with a rebound.
Just stood in front of him and said that was good enough. Will Martin for three, left it short, rebound by Benassi. 1:45 to play. And I think Pekin's going to need a basket here if they need a comeback in this one.
Absolutely. You got a guy like Pirtle out there right now, hasn't scored much, but Core's been able to get to the basket, and Johnson just got number 5.
That was a tough one right there. Benassi a little bit out of control with the basketball, but it doesn't matter as James Johnson will now officially check out of this ball game with his 12 points, but he had a great performance tonight.
Well, the last time he got all the way to the rim and finished, and I think he was able to go all the way to the rim because the last couple times he'd got in the lane, he kicked it out to wide open shooters.
James Johnson, the 3-year starter for Washington, had a good game against Peoria High and then another good one tonight. Unfortunately, checks out with 5 fouls. And 1 for Peyton Hess.
He's been a little quiet here in the second half, but there he makes a nice strong move, went to his right there and draws a foul.
And now Dean Davidson picks up his 5th. So Davidson and Johnson out of this one.
Yeah, options for Coach Schimmerhorn are dwindling.
Still with 4 is Will Martin. Andre Lewis, he's been the one that's been playing well, but he's also been in check with his fouls. Just 1. He also has contributed 11 points. Peyton Hess now up to 21 after that free throw. Great move by Craighead. Gets the off the glass layup.
Good patience by Craighead. Shot fake, got the defender in the air, let the other one go flying by. Hess pulls up 3.
Left it short, gets his own miss. Saved by Craighead.
Great effort by Colton Craighead there.
Kaminsky now with the ball. Clock down to a minute, and we'll see the Panthers try to dribble this one,
Great
but it's
play
taken.
by Walraven. Rotates in.
Peyton Hess with the ball draws the foul. This one's probably going on Pierce Martin.
And Pierce stopped that left-handed drive, but draws the blocking foul. 2 shots here for Hess.
3 fouls for Pierce Martin. Hess up to 21 points with 2 more opportunities. Rattles in the first one.
Just under a minute here.
Left the second free throw short. That's a crucial miss by Peyton Hess. Panthers get it across the court and fouled by Hess. For Hess, that's his first foul of the evening.
Yeah, for as hard as he's played, I mean, he's played hard, so that's surprising he's only got 1.
Hasn't backed down defensively.
No, not at all.
He's attacked the rim offensively. Yeah, I mean, it's been a good night for Hess. We'll see if it's enough, though, for Pekin, as they're forced to foul now. Down 8 with 39 to play.
This is where the Dragons not having many fouls. Now they got to create opportunities where they're going to foul, and and this is where trying to foul creates sometimes a situation that's a little dicey for teams.
Benassi picked up his second foul. Kaminsky kicks it out. And now Panthers still trying to just move it around, and we'll get another foul. It'll send Pierce Martin to the free throw line.
A foul on Wall, Raven.
So now it's all about making your free throws, and tell you what, hopefully it's not like that JV game we saw before. This time, the first one is made by Pierce Martin.
This one could make it a double-digit lead, which would be key here with just under 30 seconds to go.
Would go a long way, and he converts 60-50. Panthers lead. Walraven takes it, drives baseline, puts up the shot, got it. Walraven, his first basket of the evening. But with 17 seconds left, it might be a little too late.
Well, again, the Panthers were smart to not foul in that situation, try to block the shot or stop the drive. Obviously you don't want to give up a layup, but you also don't want to stop the clock. So force the Dragons to use their timeouts here. Looks like they have one left.
And one last time while we're at the break, get a quick word from us at Clutch Sports Media for overtime. Get all your sports, your teams, your stories all in one place. All on CSM Overtime. Visit clutchsportsil.com/overtime to subscribe today. 17.1 on the clock. Panthers by 8. They're looking to close this one out and complete the season sweep over Pekin.
Well, we expected a completely different game. We knew it wouldn't be the wide point spread that they had played the first time, so both teams have played hard here.
We have a final score. Morton defeats Metamora 59-42. That's a big win in the Mid-Illini Conference as Morton now ties Metamora at 8-1 in conference play.
And, the Potter Dome's always been a tough place to play.
Ball out of control everywhere on the court. And they're going to get a backcourt violation.
Long pass. Lewis kind of got hung up, threw a long cross-court pass to Craghead. They got tipped away. Craghead tipped it in the backcourt, and turnover. Will Martin came up with it in the backcourt.
Still a large mountain to climb, but cracks the door open. Hess three-pointer, no good. Kicked out of bounds. It'll stay with Pekin with 5.8 on the clock.
Good effort. Colton Craghead just tipped that away. Make the Dragons run another inbound play here.
They'll do what they can on this offensive possession, but probably not enough time. Here's Korma's three. Got it. Clock still rolls, and we are at zeros. It was a Washington victory, 60-55. Lots of good back and forth action, but in the end, the Panthers victorious over the Pekin Dragons.
That's one of the games that both teams tomorrow, when they walk in the gym, they feel it. They know, hey, we had a tough game last night. It was a long, tough game.
We're going to have a quick break before we wrap things up post-game. Here's a word from our sponsor at WMBD.
Meadows Avenue Tap, slots powered by Gold Rush Gaming, the gold standard in video gaming. Now serving breakfast Saturday and Sunday at 7. Meadows Avenue Tap, great breakfast, discreet gaming. Our customers have won over 60 million lifetime. Meadows Avenue Tap, East Peoria.
Technology is evolving faster. Machine learning, changing our schools, our jobs, the world as we know it. What does it mean? Are we prepared? Project AI. The conversation starts February 9th on WYZZ.
Once again, welcome back into the booth at Torry Gymnasium at Washington Community High School. The Panthers prevail to a 60-55 win over the Pekin Dragons. For the Panthers, it's their fourth conference win. They improved to 4-5 in Mid-Illini play. For the Dragons, they now drop to 1-8. Jeff, what were your thoughts from this game?
Well, we talked a little bit about personnel before the game, and we talked about the Panthers kind of having a balanced attack. And at different times in the game, it was James Johnson that took over the game. It was Andre Lewis that took over the game. Will Martin got hot for a short stretch. Then it was Luke Kaminsky just went crazy here in the second half, and that makes it tough on the other team because teams are going to try to take something away. And James Johnson did a great job creating shots. He got some dribble penetration. He kicked out to wide open shooters. Tyler Hess Peyton Hess played an awesome game for the Dragons. He's got to be a tired young man. A lot of the offense went through him tonight. Like I said before the break, I think both these teams are going to be sore, and it's going to be kind of a walk-through practice tomorrow. But, that's the thing about the Mid-Illini. Every game is like that. Every game is a battle. And, you feel it the next day, but you're getting ready for the next one. Everybody else had a tough game tonight too. So,
yeah, and really both teams came in hoping to have the balanced scoring. You hinted at it throughout the game and in the pregame. And the Panthers were the ones that found it, I think, most consistently.
Yeah.
For Pekin, they were led by Hess in that first half. I mean, he had the 14 of the team's 22 points. But the rest of the team stepped up after that. I mean, Benassi finishes with 10 points. Korma, despite battling foul trouble, was able to get 7. And other guys stepped up as well to kind of limit the blow to Hess not being able to score. And they kept it competitive all the way up until the end, but just didn't have enough in the tank. For the Panthers, as you said, at different times, it was someone who was leading the offense, taking charge. And, at times it was James Johnson. He started scoring early, then kind of became a facilitator for the offense, finding the open shots. Kaminsky, unbelievable. Just how he was able to catch fire from 3 in that third quarter was really the tipping point, I feel like, of this game, because that was when Washington separated themselves, and then they never looked back.
Well, and it's a situation, too, where it's not like he had, 15 or 20 shots tonight. I'm not sure he had 10 shots tonight, but he was able to get open, shot him in rhythm and knocked him down, was able to shot fake and take the ball to the basket at his size and score or create opportunities. So, I think one of the other keys for the Panthers tonight probably was the job they did on Filarski. I mean, he's a key scorer for the Dragons, and they were able to limit his touches and scoring opportunities, and, that probably helped them come out of here with a win.
Filarski in the first meeting, 16 points. Tonight, just 2. And those 2 came in the first half. So one final time here from Torry Gym. The Panthers victorious over the Pekin Dragons, 60-55. For all our crew at Clutch Sports Media, Nick Yusefi, who started at camera, and Jonathan came in reserve Dewey. And then Caden Sexton behind the computer doing producing work. And my partner, Jeff Little. Once again, thank you for joining us tonight. It was another great one.
Absolutely. Enjoy it every time.
Absolutely. And for me, Owen Dimple, signing off. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you next time on Clutch Sports Media on CIProud.com. Have a good night, folks.